Our experienced team offers comprehensive care all under one roof, from consultations and joint injections to on-site laboratory, x-ray, bone density testing, and our specialized infusion suite. No more running around to multiple locations for your arthritis evaluation. When you need expert rheumatology care, choose the specialist who focus solely on conditions like yours every single day. Carolina Arthritis Center, where your mobility and comfort are our main priority. Call 252-321-8474 or visit carolina-arthritis.com to schedule your consultation today. Again, that number is 252-321-8474. Carolina Arthritis Center.
Where your journey to health begins.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, good morning, Greenville, Pitt County, Eastern North Carolina, and everyone joining us around the world. Yes, welcome to another exciting edition of your favorite weekend show, Pitt Perspectives. Yes, where culture, community, and stories come together. Yes, Pitt Perspectives on Awesome Radio Network 107.5 FM and 1570 AM WECU. And as always, super shout out to everyone listening to us on 102.3 FM and 1450 AM WNOS out in New Bern. Yes, we are also streaming live on our Pitt Perspectives YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch channels. And if you are away from your radio, you can always listen live on our website at pittperspectives.com. If you're joining us online, yes, let us know where you're watching us from. Amazing stuff. As always, I'm your man, your friend, your favorite voice on the mic. The man with the juice, the man with the sauce, the man, the McCall, Victor Ihuka. And as always, I have my amigos. I have an amigo today. Yes, what's up, people? How you doing, guys?
Good morning, Greenville. Good morning, Pitt County. It's good to be here this wonderful, beautiful Saturday morning. It's always your wonderful favorite Saturday morning show, Pitt Perspectives. And we are glad, as you can see, to be here this morning to give you this wonderful program this morning. So you would like to call all your friends and your neighbors and everyone around to let them know that we are live on air and we are ready to take you on this wonderful journey. Patrick is not here today.
Oh, wait now. I wanted to do my best Patrick impression. It's once again it's Patrick on the one to the two to the awesome radio. It's a good morning, the sun is out and he's about to kick. Oh yes.
He's
Amazing stuff.
some serious matters.
That's what he says. I don't believe him. He says he has a seminar in Raleigh, but I don't believe him. Patrick, if you're listening to this, I know what you went to do something, but it's fine. Yes, yeah. Amazing stuff. So it's me and you today.
That sounds like a threat. It's me and you today.
As well, we'll be fine. So what's up? How's your week been?
Well, my week has been good. Just doing, chill for the most part. Doing my mostly schoolwork. I had meetings with my advisor this week, so I got new assignments.
Okay, Dr. Z is your advisor, right?
Yeah. Textbooks and papers and stuff to go and start reading again. I'm like, okay, that's why we are here anyway. So
interesting. Yes. Before we get into today's topic, or the news or anything, it's World Cup. You know, the World Cup is going on, and the FIFA World Cup continues to deliver, some incredible matches. And the group stage comes to an end, and the knockout rounds are almost here. So, have you seen any of the games?
Yeah, I saw Portugal.
Okay.
Versus
Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's probably and the US game, obviously.
US Turkey.
Those are the only two. No, not Turkey. The one before them.
Oh, Australia.
They're like the only two games I've seen.
Really?
Like full. Yeah. Most of the other games are just hopping and see what's going on and step out.
So, shout out to South Africa, Patrick. If you're listening to us, South Africa managed to sneak into the knockout rounds. I'm happy for them because I was I got to get on a show on a different radio station to analyze their group, and I figured, well, the ranking for South Africa was poor, 46 out of 48. I figured, like, man, South Africa played some good football, and then the first game they collected 2 red cards. The second game they managed to get a draw, and then the third one they were able to do something. So shout out to South Africa, and then Cape Verde is also one of the incredible stories of this World Cup.
Yeah.
Cape Verde, I think they are almost on the verge of qualifying, and this is their first World Cup.
I think they've actually
Oh
qualified.
yeah? Okay, so this is the first time I think since 2010, World Cup debutant is moving on to the knockout rounds.
But
You know.
to be fair, this is the first time we're having round of 32.
Well, that
so,
part too. Yeah,
so
you're
all
right.
the people that
It's
are qualifying
expanded.
to 32, I don't really I
Yes.
don't care much about
Yeah, I
them.
see what you mean. Hey, the game is the game. Yes, this is still Awesome Radio, and this is still Pitt Perspectives. We'll be back right after the break.
I'm Dr. Kyle Harner from Carolina Arthritis Center. Are joint pain and stiffness holding you back? At Carolina Arthritis Center in Greenville, we're here to help you move forward. Our board-certified rheumatologist and trained nurse practitioners specialize in diagnosing and treating inflammatory arthritis, lupus, osteoporosis, and other autoimmune conditions. With on-site lab testing, digital x-rays, bone density scans, and infusion therapy, we provide comprehensive care all under one roof. Since 2001, we've been committed to personalized, compassionate care for patients across eastern North Carolina. Take the first step towards better health today. Call Carolina Arthritis Center at 252-321-8474, 252-321-8474, or visit carolina-arthritis.com. Carolina Arthritis Center, where your journey to health begins.
Awesome radio. Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome. Can you hear it? Awesome. Awesome.
Yes, welcome back. In case you're just joining us, you're tuned into the best radio show east of North Carolina. Yes, this is Peak Perspectives on Awesome Radio Network, the show where we share stories, celebrate culture, and inspire community from right here to the rest of the world. Yes, we are a global stage for our local stories. Before we move on, it's important to recognize that June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So today we are dedicating our community voices discussion to this important topic because conversations can save life. Yes, legendary parts. There's nothing legendary about you, bro. Yes, parts 3686 says horrible impression. I did it with Patrick. It's Patrick on the 1 to the 2. Yes. Amazing stuff. But yeah, it's time for our top community news recap, proudly presented by Carolina Arthritis Center. So you just do all the headlines today. All right, let's go. What do we have?
All right, the first news I have here says Eastern NC farmers continue battling severe drought.
Yes, Eastern North Carolina's drought continues to take a heavy toll on local farms. Beaufort County farmer Jody Arnold says he expects to lose up to 40% of his corn crop because of the lack of rain. While Pitt County remains in extreme drought, farmers say they need at least 1.5 inches of rain each week just to keep crops alive. The drought is also affecting rivers and groundwater. Experts at ECU say lower water levels could harm fish, plants, and local ecosystems. They are encouraging residents to conserve water, especially outdoors, as communities continue to wait for much-needed rainfall. Moving on.
Yes, the next news here says mosquito season brings new health warnings.
Yes, mosquito season is in full swing across eastern North Carolina, and health officials are reminding people to protect themselves. ECU researchers are working with local counties to monitor mosquito populations and help prevent the spread of diseases such as West Nile virus and Eastern equine encephalitis. Wow. Experts say the best way to reduce mosquitoes is to empty standing water around your home every week. Use insect repellent and pay attention to local spray schedules. More than 1,000 mosquito and tick-borne illnesses were reported statewide last year, making prevention more important than ever. Yes, moving on.
Pitt County schools consider tougher cell phone rules.
Yes, Pitt County schools may toughen cell phone rules across after board members discussed collecting students' phones at the start of the school day. Supporters say stricter limits could improve learning, reduce distractions, and encourage students to socialize more and help prevent bullying. Other members believe the current policy is already working and say parents still want to be able to reach their children during the day. School leaders plan to review more feedback before deciding whether to make changes, with another discussion expected in August. Yes, in our final news of the day.
Yes, new $500,000 endowment will help Pitt County seniors.
Yes, the Pitt County Council on Aging has created a $500,000 endowment to help provide long-term funding for programs that support older adults. Leaders say the fund will help ensure important services continue as the county's senior population keeps growing. The organization delivers meals on wheels to about 400 seniors every day, while nearly 200 more remain on a waiting list. The endowment will also help fund transportation, wellness programs, caregiver support, and other services while reducing the organization's reliance on government funding. Yes, that's all we have for you today on our top community news recap, proudly presented by Carolina Arthritis Center, where your journey to health begins. Yeah, shout out to Carolina Arthritis Center for the love and for always supporting. Yes, on Legendary Part says in the chat, Nollywood would not be proud of that impression. Well, who cares? But yes.
And in one of the news items we took, talking about tougher cell phone rules.
okay.
I think, was it this week or last week?
Okay.
The UK announced that they were banning
Instagram or something.
social media for
Okay.
people under the age of 16. What did you think about that?
I mean, I don't have much information about that news. How would they even go about
The
to
enforcement?
accomplish? Yes.
I'm sure they must have their plans.
So I'm just saying, you know,
Yeah.
because without that, it's
What I'm
difficult to-
thinking is they'll probably need ID to register for any social media.
Okay,
Yes,
that
yeah.
makes sense.
You probably have to have an ID.
Like a government, but that
Yeah,
means
before you
whatever
can-
accounts that are that are less than 16-year-old,
Yeah,
they would have to maybe take it off.
most likely.
Ah, that's
Pull
interesting.
it down.
You know what's interesting too is sometimes policies seem very, needed on the surface, but then when it comes to implementation, you might find out that it doesn't have as much effect as you would have thought it would. But
Well,
but I mean-
personally, I don't really know much, like you said, information about how the enforcement is going to go. Some
Right.
people have criticized it, saying it might lead to the government having to be overbearing in some way.
yeah, like privacy
And
issues or
yeah,
something.
yeah. So I don't want to go into that. The part I want to just touch on is the importance of why they had to take that.
Okay.
For example, what we just read in news too, they're trying to take tougher,
Right.
cell phone measures and all of that.
Right.
And then the first thing that came to my mind is, when I was 16, did I have a phone to start with?
I mean, there were phones when you were 16, but it
yeah,
wasn't
but
as
like
common.
I
as it
was in
is
a
now.
boarding school and
Right.
phones were not allowed. So
Oh, really?
yeah, people who brought in phones, the phones were destroyed. Like they were collected from them.
Destroyed. I will sue.
You can't do that in Nigeria.
You can't do that.
Especially in a military school. So I attended a military school. So the soldiers will seize the phones. There was even one that they asked them to destroy it themselves in the presence of everybody. Like they collected the phones from them and then they brought them out on the parade ground and they gave them big stones to crush the phones.
Wow.
Yes.
That's child abuse.
You can't tell that to the military
But
guys.
it is. That's,
But
there
how
are
the
better
militaries in
ways.
Nigeria, they are very,
Yeah.
they are
it's
very, very, extreme with their,
autocratic.
with
and
their
it's very
things. So, but why I
dictatorial.
even brought that up is because at that point I didn't feel like I was missing anything though.
Okay.
Because even, I mean, I didn't have a phone.
I mean, it's a different world too, granted.
yes.
You know, the world
But-
that is different now than
yes,
it was
but
when you were 16.
the idea is still that if even in today's world,
Okay.
and you are not on social media, you will not be missing any much. Don't let me say anything. Let me just say
Okay.
you won't be missing much. And whatever it is you are missing is not something that will have any negative impact on your life.
I mean, that's your own opinion, but I see what you mean.
Yeah, obviously,
Yeah,
it's my
I see what
opinion.
you mean.
And the reason why I'm saying this is because what are the things you get from social media? Mostly is just updates on what's going on in the world.
I mean, there's
And
that.
those things that's going on in the world, there are things that if you don't know they are going on,
I mean, even with what you know that's going on, there are a
and
million
you can't
other
even do
things.
anything about it.
I mean,
if
there
you
are a
start
million
with-
other things you don't know that's going on
that is
because
going
it doesn't
on.
show up on
And
your feed.
that's one of the reasons why I'm
So I
like,
see what you
if I stay off social media, what's going to happen? Most of the things going on in the world, there are things that I can't even change. So for those things that will even make me feel bad, it's even worse for me because I don't have any power to implement any change to
Right.
change those things. So why bother? So at the end of the day, those things will even just make you sad. And for a 16, I mean, I don't even want to say 16-year-old, but like less than 16-year-old, you don't even know how well they've developed enough in their mind to develop that kind of strength to handle such levels of, say bad news or discouraging news.
It's not even just
and
the,
those things.
you know how with social media there has been trends and all of those things. That's
Yeah.
typically where it starts. You know, there is that, and people talk about bullying. There is a lot of
Yes.
the whole bullying thing. There's a lot of even child trafficking in chat rooms where people try to find the word, try to influence kids in a negative way or something.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of different things to it too, and I mean, when you even come to think about it, an 18-year-old is not much
16.
more. I'm just saying, like,
Okay.
an 18-year-old is not much developed than a 16-year-old. When you think about it. too.
Well,
But I see what you mean.
Yeah, I get it.
you
But I mean,
know.
2 years is a lot of time.
I mean, I get it, but I mean, some people even tell you the brain doesn't get fully developed until like your late 20s or something, But I guess whatever works. Yes, this is still Awesome Radio, and this is still Pitt Perspectives. We'll continue with the amazing conversation right after the break. Boom.
Clemmy Family Care Home, registered by the state of North Carolina, is an adult age 55 and older independent living care home with facilities in Ayden, Winterville, and Greenville. Clemmy Family Care Home, 252-916-4466. Daily prepared meals available, fun activities, field trips, and more. We have private rooms and double rooms, professional medical staff, and 24-hour security at all facilities. Clemmy Family Care Home, 252-916-4466. Private pay, Medicaid, and Medicare accepted. Veterans are welcomed also. Visiting hours from 6 o'clock a.m. to 10 o'clock p.m. daily. To schedule a tour of our facilities and to learn more of what Clemmy Family Care Home has to offer, contact Tammy, 252-916-4466. That's 252-916-4466. Clemmy Family Care Home, an adult independent living care home with facilities in Ayden, Winterville, and Greenville.
Awesome radio. Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome. Can you hear it? Awesome. Awesome.
Why you did that? Yes, welcome back. In case you're just joining us, this is Pitt Perspectives on Awesome Radio. Yes, the show where we share stories, celebrate culture, and inspire community from right here in Greenville, North Carolina, to the rest of the world. Yes, on our Community Voices segment of the show today, we're talking about a very timely and important topic. Yes, we said earlier that June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So this week we're talking about men's mental health, breaking the silence. Yes, as you all know, Many men face stress, anxiety, depression, loneliness, and other mental health challenges. Yet, conversations about these issues are often avoided or kept private. Yes, cultural expectations, stigma, and the pressure to appear strong can make it difficult for men to ask for help or openly discuss what they are going through. So today we are having that honest conversation about mental health, emotional well-being, and the unique challenges many men face when it comes to seeking support. So we'll explore how ideas about masculinity, family, work, relationships, and community influence the way men experience and respond to mental health struggle. So one important thing we want to tackle today is how can we create a culture where men feel comfortable speaking openly about their mental health without fear of judgment? So, our calling questions today are: what do you think? Why do you think many men find it difficult to talk about stress, anxiety, or depression? Have attitudes towards men's mental health changed in recent years? And what support do men need from their families, friends, workplaces, and communities? So, I'll take it again. Why do you think many men find it difficult to talk about stress, anxiety, or depression? The second one: have attitudes towards men's mental health changed in recent years? And the last one: what support do men need from their families, friends, workplaces, and communities? Yes, as always, you can drop your ideas, your perspectives in the chat, or you can call us on 252-756-2008. You can also drop us an email at hello.pitperspectives@gmail.com. Would love to hear from you. How can we create a culture where men feel comfortable speaking openly about their mental health without judgment? So, who best to tackle this topic today than the man who has a t-shirt that says "Love your neighbor"? The man, the McCall, AY Odunaike. Yes, AY. Let me start with you. Let's start with the
first question.
yes, the first question. Let's say,
So
why do you
why
think
it's,
many
yeah,
men find it difficult to talk about stress, anxiety, or depression?
Well, first I think it's a societal expectations thing. Like,
So when you say
the
societal, you mean the general
general
society?
expectation
Okay.
of society is that men are supposed to be strong. Men are supposed to be, be there for everyone, stand in the gap for everyone, the family, and even, everyone around them. Make sure that they are strong for them, and make sure that they're providing. So it's expectations. Everybody expects that if something happens here now, they come in and say, "Oh, children,
Women and children
there's
Okay.
that."
That's interesting.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's how those
so-
things are reinforced.
So
yes.
that's where that's how it goes. Like, you safety first, women and children, then and things like that. So it's an expectation that a man should be
Right.
strong. So the idea is we come in to save the women and children. The men should find their way, right? So it's just that idea that the men should be strong even in the face of adversity, in the face of challenges, in the face of scarcity sometimes, and it's also natural. I don't want to call it natural instinct. Let me just say it's instinct. It's instinctive for most men to want to step in if something happens. So if there is danger around you and everybody steps back, the man wants to step forward and see what's going on, try to help out and see, and for in the family, construct too, if there is a need, everybody looks up to the man to provide and all of that. Also, and that's like the main reason why men are trying to, quote and unquote, man up,
Right.
trying to be there for everyone.
But I imagine that gender
And I also
roles.
think
Okay, go
there
ahead.
is, okay, yeah, we'll get to
go
gender
ahead,
roles.
go ahead. You
I also
think-
think there is, especially where we come from, there is also some level of shame attached to it. It's a culture of shame where when a man is not doing the manly things, quote and unquote, he's being looked down on and say, "Oh, and you call yourself a man," kind of. So there's that. So it's not just the expectation, it's also that when you don't meet up, there is a reward of shame that comes with it.
Punishments.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So when you don't, if you don't meet up to the standard they've set, there is that package of shame added to it for you, and say, okay, since you can't do what we think you should be doing, look at yourself.
And it's interesting how a lot
Yeah.
of this is unspoken too. For the most part. I mean, that pressure
Yes.
is unspoken. And I wanted to go back even further from what you said about society, how, you grow up and you think the world is this certain way, especially with expectations around men. But when you take it further back, you realize that this is something that has gone on for generations. So there is a sort of a generational memory, if you say, I mean, it's just like that concept too, and I imagine, I don't know if you're a doctor and you're listening to us, please let us know. I imagine that some of these things get passed down in the gene or something, because over time these things are
it's been
encoded in
reinforced,
the
yeah.
gene and reinforced and all that, which I think is very, very interesting. And over time, when you hear phrases like "don't cry," man, we talk about gender roles earlier on, in our culture specifically, men I mean, I guess in a lot of different cultures around the world, men are expected to be tough.
Yes.
Men are expected to
provide.
provide and protect. Men are
Expected
expected
to have it figured out.
right. Men are expected to, even if some people would tell you like crying wouldn't help you.
To be fair, I mean, I don't let me say to be fair, but like, let me
Be
just play
unfair,
that.
be
Let me
unfair.
just play that, side of it, to be that when something happens, or when we are in need,
Right.
or when we are in a situation, we need somebody to be strong. We need to
Okay.
establish that. We need somebody to step up.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to even push it maybe to the man or the woman, but we need somebody
Right.
to be able to move things
Right.
when things happen. Maybe
Yeah.
if it's danger, we need somebody to be there
Crisis,
to
yeah.
crisis. We need somebody
Right.
to manage it. If there is need, we need somebody to step up and provide. So whether we are attributing it to the man or the woman is a different conversation. But we cannot deny the fact that we always need
A leader.
at least a leader, yes,
In
of
the
some
moment,
sort,
yes.
in the moment, to step up and get things done.
Right.
So in that, if we establish that and we kind of agree to a very large extent that is the case, then who do you think should step up?
So this would eventually circle back to the battle of the sexes.
Yeah.
When, I don't know if it's politically incorrect when someone says that maybe the male or the man biologically is more equipped, whether it's the kind of hormones they have, or the kind of whatever mental brain chemicals or whatever, to handle certain aspects of a crisis or certain crisis better than the female gender. But then again, I'm not trying to start any trouble.
We kind of touched on this when we did the workplace conversation about men and women.
Right.
And I think one of the things we established was the fact that the advantages that the male gender has is mostly physical in terms of what they have over the female gender.
Okay.
So when there is crisis that needs physical energy to manage, obviously you need mostly the male to step in.
Okay.
But things like, say, providing, for example, and we established that in that conversation, like the setup of what work looks like now has changed a bit, and it's not
a lot
physical like it used to be.
Right.
So in that space, how then do we pin it on the man to say you still have to do this? And I'm not saying I'm not staying in a corner yet. I've not said anything. I'm just putting it forward to say, how do we look at it in that situation? How do we establish who should be stepping forward? But we need to go on this break. Actually.
Yes.
We'll be back after the break.
From the Pacific Justice Institute, this is The Legal Edge, defending your rights as a Christian, a parent, and a citizen. Here's Brad Dacus.
Imagine walking into work one day and being told your religious beliefs are invalid. That's what happened to a nurse who requested a religious accommodation from a government-run hospital regarding its COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Now, her objection was based on her sincerely held Christian beliefs, but hospital officials denied her request. Now, PGI is defending her in federal court. Please pray for this nurse and for PJI as it defends her religious freedom.
PJI provides legal representation without charge. Get exclusive email updates by registering for the Legal Insider at pji.org.
Yes, welcome back, welcome back. In case you're just joining us, you're tuned into Pitt Perspectives on Awesome Radio. Yes, we're on 107.5 FM and 1570 AM WECU. And as always, super shout out to everyone who's listening to us on 102.3 FM and 1450 AM WNOS out in New Bern and surrounding areas. And you can also get the stream on our Pitt Perspectives YouTube, Facebook and Twitch, and we're also live on our Pitt Perspectives website at pittperspectives.com. Yeah, so today we're talking about men's mental health, breaking the silence, and we just talked about the first question: why do you think many men find it difficult to talk about stress, anxiety, or depression? And we've established that it's as a result of societal norms and expectations,
And then there's also the grooming parts.
Yes, the grooming,
for
yes,
boys,
the grooming parts.
As a boy,
yes.
they are telling you,
Yes.
you're a man.
And then those things get reinforced too. And I guess there's also the parts, in addition to all that, where we've grown up believing that men are more rational and women are more emotional, things like that. And those things play into certain tropes.
But that thing is not entirely true, though.
That's what I'm saying. So those things play into certain tropes because there are men that are more emotional than the average woman,
absolutely.
and then there are women that are more rational. So there are a lot of, again, we don't want this to be the battle of the sexes. So the second question we have is: have attitude towards men's mental health changed in recent years?
Yes, I would say so, because there is more awareness.
Okay,
about
even having the men's
the
mental health
month and all of that, and there've been conversations going on about mental health, especially for men. In the past, like months, like June has been,
Right.
I've seen a lot of people having those conversations. There was one I saw recently, I think it was this week or last week, I can't remember, where they had this podcast.
Okay.
They had men and everybody was just sharing. Maybe based I've not seen the entire podcast. I
Right.
just saw some of the clips and the snippets. Sharing some of their experiences
Right.
from growing up, from examples they saw with their parents. And then reaching out to say how men don't attend to themselves, mental health, physical health. Generally, men are just thinking about how do I stand in for my family, how do I show up for my people, and neglecting themselves. And that's neglect that men have experienced over the years is now taking its toll on people's health, physically and mentally, because now you just hear, and this thing is proven, the life expectancies of men is largely shorter than that for
Right.
of women. And there's statistics on how we have more men dying from suicide and all of that,
Right.
than women. So it is that, over time, people doing those things that has now come home to roost, in the sense that we are seeing the results on men now. So, but I'll also say, like the question you asked, the attitude has improved. We're having more awareness. People are now having conversations about
Right.
men's mental health. And I think this year, one thing that actually stood out for me, at least from my own view from where I see, is the fact that the emphasis is more on men, sharing, talking to themselves, having a very healthy community and conversations where men can share, about what they're going through and see how they can get help. Unlike,
go ahead.
because one of the issues I had with this whole men's mental health month and stuff before now is, when the conversations are here, everything we just keep hearing is, it's okay to cry. And I'm like, who does that help? How does that solve anything?
I get the logic,
Because
but
for the longest time, it's okay to cry was like the theme of every men's mental health month. And I'm like, bro, I don't want to cry. I just need this. I need solutions. Crying doesn't fix it, right? So
I mean,
telling
sometimes
men that it's okay to cry is not, at least from where I sit,
Right.
is not a solution. It's not going to provide.
Right.
It's not going to change
Right.
anything. The reason why the man in that situation is where he is because there's a problem that he needs to solve that he probably doesn't know how to solve. So this year, most of the conversations I've seen are about sharing.
Okay.
Which I think, like, there is this popular saying that a problem shared is still your problem. No, that's not it. That one is a joke. But the saying is that a problem shared is half solved.
Yeah.
So it's more about, so this year, from the most of the things I've seen, is about sharing. There was
Okay.
this song that this Timmy Dakolo released.
Brotherly, right?
Yes,
Okay,
you
we'll have
know
a call on
what
the
the
line.
song. I'll get back to that after this call. So yeah.
Good morning. Good morning. You're live on Awesome Radio. This is Pitt Perspective. So who do we have on the line?
Good morning. This is Patrick.
Hey, on time, Patrick, you're joining us today. You said what did you say you had in Raleigh again?
I had a convention. I have a convention to attend. So
Okay, we don't believe you, but it's fine.
Oh, yeah, what's going
I
on?
mean,
What's going on over there?
what you believe and what's happening is that they are not as you would say, they are not what's I'm looking for a big word for you, Victor, but I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah,
They're mutually exclusive. There you go.
whatever.
They're not
no.
mutually exclusive.
Yes, so yes, we're talking about men's mental health. How is your mental health this morning, Patrick?
Mental health is great.
That's good to know.
Mental health is great this morning.
That's good to know. So yes, I mean, you've already seen the conversation and all. So we're asking folks. The first question is, why do you think many men find it difficult to talk about stress, anxiety, or depression?
Yeah, I think this is a great show. The conversation is amazing. Y'all are doing great. AY's bit made me laugh. Like, okay to cry. I don't want to cry.
What is the truth?
But it depends,
yeah,
though. It depends, though.
Yes. I would like to say that I think we're heading into good space. I get AY's point. But like men sometimes are like, I don't really want to cry. I want to solve the problem. But at the same time, what they mean by that is once you cry, it means you're letting your emotional side kick in. You're becoming a little bit more emotional, which is what you want, right? Because men are always in this space where their emotions are not considered because, for one, you're a man. Why are you being emotional? But then if you cry, as they say, then, you're tapping into that emotional side of yourself. And so, yeah, that's how it is.
Don't let me say it. See, because
Say it.
No. I was just going to touch on that. The whole idea of men crying. So
I think it's situational, though.
Yes.
Just before you say something,
I agree with you.
It's situational. It's not a one-size-fits-all thing.
Absolutely, I
So
agree.
when you say you want your problem solved, so if someone passes, for instance,
Yes.
I mean, there's nothing you can do to bring them back, for
Yes,
instance.
yes.
But being able to maybe cry and let out that emotion could be helpful, could be cathartic.
Yeah, but that's
you know.
different.
No, I'm just
So,
saying,
I mean,
sometimes,
the loss of a loved one.
but
is-
then
is
sometimes
always-
most men too wouldn't cry. You would see men be stoic.
yeah, I've
and,
seen people. In fact,
I mean,
when I've lost people, like I cried. Oh.
yeah, I mean, again, following on that trend, it's
Yeah. The
people
loss of a
would-
loved one is absolute final.
Right.
Like you said, you can't bring
Right.
the person back, and
Right.
that's what makes it really
Right.
very painful. Right.
Right.
So yes.
So we just stay on the line, Patrick. Bellholm says, I think in the chat, I think the reasons why men don't talk about mental health is because of the following: social expectations,
Yeah.
be strong, fear of judgment,
Yeah. The shame thing.
yes, different ways of expressing distress. I think that's the one we didn't touch.
Yeah.
Different ways of expressing distress, lack of safe space,
Yeah.
cultural and family beliefs, etc. Yes, I think the different ways of expressing distress is really a big one because it doesn't get any attention.
Yes.
You get what I mean? Because
Yeah.
When you talk about mental health, now that I think about, and thank you for saying that, Bro Augustine, when you think about that, many men, emotions are always looking for ways of expression.
Yeah.
So an emotion you don't express doesn't just die off. It comes out in different ways.
Yeah.
Which is why I hate to use an extreme, example. Well, Patrick, you can relate to this. Whenever there is like a shooting or something, people think about like the mental health aspect of it. When you trace it back, you realize that this kid has, I mean, this is not a justification or anything anyway, has had what?
Why would I be able to relate to that? I've never witnessed to see any shooting in my life. If anything, I know two people that have, been at some place where what's this? Come on, guys.
You see what I mean?
I
know people who have been in
I
a
would
place.
not be
That's
able
what
to
I
relate.
mean.
I would not be able to relate, no.
Oh dear. But yes, like back to what Bro Augustine said about lack
Right.
of safe space. I think that's been the most of the emphasis I've
Yes,
seen
that's
on
the
this
big
year's, giving men platforms to share, at least among themselves.
Right.
And that's the song I was talking about, Timmy.
Brotherly,
saying
I was
that,
gonna say that.
you have a
yeah.
friend in me. I'll be there for
That's
you.
a very nice emotional song.
Which is something that I appreciate more
Right.
than the whole idea of it's okay to cry. Because when you share with other men, there might be somebody in your community that has a solution to your problem.
But it's okay to cry too, because part of that too is if there is a safe space, if you feel safe, you could express all that frustration
I'll
or
go
whatever.
more with
with
it's okay
crying.
to share.
And I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not saying
Because
crying
there is a cynical let me just say it is a part of me that feels like there's something cynical about saying it's okay for men to, like, because it comes from more from women. I'm like, why are you guys so
Why are you
very
not
excited about
seeing a man
seeing
cry?
a man cry? Like, what
And
does it do
that's-
to you? Is that something that it does to you as a woman?
Well,
Seeing
I'm
a man cry, does it make you happy?
I'm sure
does
a lot of the
does it make you feel better about yourself?
I'm sure a lot of people that
I
have
wish there
done
was a
that.
woman here that
I'm
I
sure a
could
lot of
pose that
people that have
question
done
to.
that have regretted it.
Does
but yeah.
does it make you feel good as a woman seeing a man cry? Does it make you feel better about
So
yourself?
when you say cry, I guess the way I'm picturing it in my head, it doesn't necessarily mean crying to someone. At least the way I understand it. And then when you say cry, I mean, I've had times in my life where I've had to cry by myself, and after
Victor, let me
crying,
ask you.
what?
Let me ask you. Are you a crier?
What's that?
Answer the question.
I'm
Answer
not.
the question. Are
I'm
you a
not.
crier? Oh, you're not a crier.
Don't cry.
What's the alternative?
So why are you saying this? Because you're sounding like someone who's speaking from experience.
No. I mean, what
Yeah,
I'm
sounding
trying
like
to say.
someone that wants to
I mean,
cry.
I've cried. I've cried in the past. But what I'm trying to say is,
Yeah.
we need to make that distinction. The way I'm hearing it in my head about it's okay to cry, I'm not justifying, the notion. What I'm saying is, crying doesn't have to be to someone else or crying to a group of people or whatever. There has been times in my life when, in my own personal space, if I feel, this huge emotion or whatever I'm going through or whatever, and I feel the need to cry, I cry by myself, for myself, alone, and then wipe my tears and still come out and tackle what I'm trying to do. That's the way I understand it's okay to cry.
Funny
That's what I
enough,
mean.
The things that make me cry the most are when I think about progress. Let me try to let me say
Where
it
you're
again.
coming from, right?
Yes,
I
kind of
can
like
imagine,
when
yeah.
it's mostly I don't cry in the face of the issues, like when but like the thing that make me cry the most is when I just think back about where I was and where I am now.
Yeah,
It brings me
AY
to-
has been in
like,
some
and for
terrible
me
place, but
it's
yeah.
gratitude, right?
Right.
Like looking back, and yes, I've made some progress. I'm grateful. Like I feel like sometimes.
So do you
there's-
cry to someone then?
No. I'm just like grateful, mostly to God. Like God,
By yourself?
yeah, by
correct?
myself. Like
That's the point
you
I'm
brought
trying
me
to
this
make.
far, like.
But it's okay to cry.
Because there are people who were probably going through the same thing I was going through and didn't make it through.
Right.
So for me, it's mostly gratitude,
Well-
not the kind of it's okay to
Patrick
cry.
wants to say something.
They project in those messages like for them it's
Yes.
mostly
AY
when you have a
Mike
problem,
Hudson.
go and cry.
Patrick, what's
Yes,
that?
Yeah.
Patrick, what are you saying?
I was saying AY is Mike Hogging. let me stop hugging and let others call in too. Yeah, I think it's been an amazing conversation, and yes, you guys should be able to cry when you want to cry, right? And not feel like you're less masculine if you do cry. Me personally, I won't be crying, but if you guys
I
feel
mean,
like you
you're
want to
still a
cry,
kid. You're still young.
cry
What have you seen? If you have gone
But
through what
yeah,
AY have
yeah.
gone through, you will cry.
It's not half of what you have
Yeah.
gone through, though.
All right, boys. Thank you so much. And y'all enjoy the
All right, all
Y'all doing
right.
amazing.
Come back soon and please
Yeah.
cry if you need to.
Okay, I
All
think
right.
we should
I'll
go
be
to,
back.
to the last
I'll be
question.
back in town on Sunday afternoon.
Whatever, please don't come back.
All right.
Bye.
All right.
Okay, so yes.
Yeah, so yeah. I mean, we need to establish, but I get what you mean about it's okay to cry. You know, I think most of the times people say that in the context of relationships, personal relationships. You know, maybe it's okay to cry to your girlfriend or to your spouse, or
Who does that?
you know. I mean, some people would do, which again, some people would think about that. There's a stigma associated with that too.
And that's why I was asking, does it make you feel a certain kind of way seeing a man cry? Because at the end of the day, the same people that are telling you to cry will use it against you.
I mean, I've also had the thing against that too is how the moment you cry for a spouse or something and they see your weakness in that kind of way, there's no getting back from that. You sort of lose steez in their eyes or whatever it is. You get what I mean? But yeah, it's a very interesting. But I think I really agree with the sharing part.
Yeah,
right.
sharing
And I
makes a lot
think
of sense,
I
'cause
think
that way you can get solutions.
yes, and
yeah.
I think there. I mean, and then it's not even just. So when people think about, say, mental health, for instance, it's not only just about problems or sharing. I mean, sharing problems and all that is
Yeah.
a big part of it.
Yes.
But it's also about having healthy connections.
Yes.
Healthy manly connections, which is why I mean, super shout out to the Afro-Caribbean men's group. I
Yeah.
mean, shout out to Bro Augustine too. Onge, if you're listening, thanks so much for all you do too in that community.
Yeah.
Every time we have a meeting, I make it a point of duty to point out how much I value being in that space. You know, because sometimes, I mean, think about it too. The culture here emphasizes work a lot. Like you could literally walk yourself to the ground here. I mean, we are students, but if you're working, there are folks who have like 3 jobs or 4 jobs, as the case may be. So sometimes there is no time to even, like you said earlier, take care of yourself, whether it's
Yes.
physically or emotionally and all. So, but having those communities, those healthy male communities, to just, you know, have conversations, share food, you know, just share some time. It might not even be stress related as such. A good conversation does you good in your soul and whatever. So it's very uplifting to have those kind of things. And I think especially with young boys and around those ages of maybe teenage ages, I think that could be a good way to sort of model what healthy male-centered communities would look like. For instance, yes, Bro Augustine, you're welcome.
Yeah, I also think that we're already kind of moving into the final question, though, like about support. What support do men need from their families, friends, workplaces, and communities? And you kind of touched on some of it,
Right.
in the sense of having a community.
Right.
I feel like that's one thing that men would need,
Right.
that we should encourage more, where we have those healthy, like you said, healthy communities where people can have decent
Honest
conversations,
yes. You know.
share sometimes, share their burdens,
Right.
where people can talk and then have people advise them,
Right.
or even provide direct solutions to their problems. I feel like it helps a lot, because at the end of the day, when you are faced with, because that is what we see in life generally. Life is full of those conflict moments, right? So things will happen. You don't have to plan for it. Sometimes things will happen. Things happen.
That's why
even
it's life.
when you want to, trying to even move from one level to another, it's conflict, and you need to get someone that that challenge. So having those spaces where you can share that, man, this is what I'm going through now. This is what I'm trying to achieve now, and I feel like I don't have what it takes to get there. There might be somebody who has that helping hand that can lend to you, or
Right.
somebody who even has something I can point you to. Oh, I've done this before. This was how I achieved it. Go this way. Go this way. It goes a long way.
It's interesting you say that too, because when you think about even our students, international student community,
Yes.
a lot of the times you realize that what counts as therapy for us is even just getting together and dumping our emotions on each other.
Yeah.
Because I mean we are pretty much in the same boat. So, you see what I mean? Like sometimes everybody talks about what crazy thing they have going on for themselves. This one talks about, and you find out that you realize that, well, you just take some solace in the fact that you are not alone in this. You have people in this together. Yes, this is still Awesome Radio, and this is still Pitt Perspectives. Amazing conversation after the break.
Looking for a place where community, healthy living, and entrepreneurship come together? Journey Cafe in Greenville is more than a cafe. It's a platform for opportunity. Sip healthy smoothies, shop local products, and support entrepreneurs growing their dreams right here in Eastern North Carolina. Journey Cafe is also seeking investors and community partners who believe in building stronger communities together. Visit Journey Cafe at 401 Evans Street in Greenville. Journey Cafe. Step into your journey today.
Do you have documents that need to be notarized? We provide notary services by appointment. 252-756-3137.
Awesome radio. Yes, awesome. Awesome. Can you hear it? Awesome. Awesome.
Yes, welcome back. In case you're just joining us, this is Awesome Radio Network, and this is Pitt Perspectives, the show where we share stories, celebrate culture, and inspire communities from right here in Eastern North Carolina. We're talking about men's mental health, breaking the silence. Yes, it's been an amazing conversation today. Yes, Ewa, I think before the break we were talking about what those healthy male spaces look like.
Yes.
And I think sharing is a big part of what mental health support looks like for men. And when you think about it, men are more problem solving oriented per se. And I found out that it's in conversation that you straighten out your thoughts. So chances are, in conversations while talking to someone about something, you could run into insights about your own issues too and how to deal with it, which only comes from, or which mostly comes from having those conversations too in the first place.
Yes, another aspect of it is support from family.
Yes.
On that part, I think we kind of touched on it a bit on the work aspect of things. We understand that the world as we used to know it has changed a bit.
Yes, a lot, not just
a lot, and I feel like the burden is more now, apart from the fact that work has been kind of democratized in a way where people now, everyone, male, female, anyone can get a good job, decent job, and get paid for it. I also feel like the demands on our finances has increased. There are so many more things that 50, 60 years ago people were not paying for that we now have to pay for. So I'm saying expenses have gone up and the demand on your livelihood has increased. So I feel like in that moment, recognizing that people, family members, especially spouses, should be able to support where they can, instead of, and I'm not even trying to say absorb the men from their responsibilities of showing up for the family and providing for their families. I'm saying that their spouses should also understand that what their parents or grandparents faced in their time is not what people are facing.
So if
now.
I hear you, it's really about adjusting to the realities of the present time.
Yes. I'm saying that as a family, we should understand that we can always come together and contribute towards moving forward, or meeting our needs, or paying for stuff, paying bills. So in as much as the man still sees it as, yes, it's my duty to make sure that everybody is fine, the spouse should, the woman should also step in and see where they can help. What bills can
It's
I
a
pick
team.
up?
It's a team effort.
It's a teamwork, right? It
Yes.
shouldn't be on one person totally, because things have changed. People
I
are
mean, things
we're
are
paying-
still changing.
You know,
Things are
and
still
inflation
changing.
is catching up with people's pay
Yeah,
as it is
and
now.
wages are not rising
As much.
Yes,
Yeah. So,
amazing
so
stuff.
families should be able to chime in at those moments and be there to help.
Yes, it's been
Yeah.
an amazing conversation, and I think this is a conversation that needs to be heard. And this won't be the end. You know, I'm sure as we go ahead, we will definitely put these ideas into practice. So, some of our community events happening around our community this weekend. Plant and See Nursery is having a 50th anniversary celebration today from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. at Plant and See Nursery in Winnerville. Enjoy one of their biggest sales ever, plus food, vendors, live music, giveaways, kids activities, and family fun. So Plant and See is a nursery where you can buy flowers and plants and all that too. So yes, do you want to get the next one?
Yes, we have art in the park today from 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. at Alice Hefkin Park.
10 a.m. to 11:30.
10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Yes, bring the family out for a relaxing morning of outdoor arts and creativity.
Yes, and Greenville United FC versus Mountain to CFC. Yes, tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. It will be happening at John Paul II Stadium off of 14th Street. Come out and support Greenville United as they continue their exciting season. Expect great soccer, family fun, and an incredible atmosphere. You know, yes. So off the cuff, I wanted to ask you a question. If you had a son, you know, with how much you know about, you know, mental health and safe space and all that, how would you raise your son? What would you tell him about, you know, I guess the equivalent of it's okay to cry? What
That
would
I'm
be-
never even going to tell my that one. I'm taking that out.
Okay, so what would you replace that with?
I think it's more of being proactive for
Okay.
me. Is it to be to tell my son to be proactive in the face of challenges.
Okay.
However, also to be vulnerable enough to share when they need
Okay.
help. So I feel like the extreme of that idea is to stop men from sharing when they need help. So if you need help as a man, it's okay for you to reach out and say, "Oh, guy,
Would
I
you
need."
would you
Yes.
consider therapy?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's nothing bad about that. If it gets to that point, yes.
Does it have to get to what point? If it
No,
gets to what
I'm
point?
saying that. So I'll, in that case, I'll lean more towards my spirituality, right? But if it gets to the point where you need help, even if it's from a professional, why not?
It's interesting you mentioned that, because that's something we didn't even talk about. Because sometimes people substitute real life help, you know, I mean, emotional support and all with spirituality, you know, because I mean,
So let me just adjust the language.
Okay.
Spirituality is real life, just to be clear. You
Okay.
said substitute real life help for spirituality.
okay.
Like you're splitting it. Spirituality is real
I mean,
life.
it's
real
a, I
life.
guess you get what I'm trying to say.
But yeah,
It's
yeah,
an
just-
aspect of life, you
Yeah.
know. Yes, I mean, who knows? Maybe this could be one of the topics we treat sometime, and I know it's your home ground, so you will have a lot of amazing things to see. Yes, thank you to everyone who called in and listened and lurked and, you know, shared with us. Thank you for spending part of your Saturday morning with us. Remember, conversations matter. If you or someone you know is struggling, don't suffer in silence. Reach out, talk to someone, support someone. Yes, we'll see you again next week. From all of us here at Pitt Perspectives, keep having a great life. Bye-bye. Boom.